morning. Yes, my name is Eduardo, and I'll be presenting to you the history of skateboarding. I'll be informing you about the history of skateboarding and my first point is will be skateboarders that changed skateboarding, the skating industry, and the how filming in the skating community, filming and skating community, in the skating community. People that changed skateboarding was there's the pioneers of skateboarding were surfers, and they surfed a lot, and when there was no surf, they wanted something to do rather than standing around or doing nothing all day, and they created skateboarding, which and they would put together a ply of wood and put on wheels, as you saw in the first slide. And right here it says, according to Clive Gifford, author of skateboarding, it is a big sport now, but at the start of the 60s, only a handful of people had boards. And in the 60s, the first wave of skateboarders were surfers, and they started cruising on boards, and they had and there was a wave to surf. They called this sidewalk surfing. So they would go down the boardwalk or on the coast. A lot of surfers, just would go along. As you can see here, this is Steve Keller. He was in a company, and he was one of those few surfers that went to skateboarding because there wasn't much popularity in surfing there that time when skateboarding came around. And Tony Alva, there. My second one, I'll be talking about is the industry, the skateboarding, and a lot of surfers they skateboarded, and throughout the years, within half a decade, they started making companies, videos, and from there they started to compete more often. And this is like Tony Alva. This is in 1976, after winning the men's overall world's pro skateboarding champion. Alva started his own company by his last name, Alva Skateboards, and it was popular in the 1980s, and they're still sold today. Says Justin Hoffman, author of Famous Skateboarders. And a lot of these companies, they started making boards, but they didn't want to sell them to kids, parents, because they were unsafe. But they kept trying. They wanted to make it popular. It was something for kids to do rather than get into trouble. And so, but a lot of these skateboarders, they had their own style. As you can see right here is like, you can see like the surfing style, and then over here is more like he was more into getting air, jumping. And that's a big difference when you're just cruising down the street rather than into jumping. And then, Caballero, Steve Caballero, as you saw in the other picture, he had a smooth style, and his style inspired many skaters. And another one was Rodney Mullen, and he also had a new style, but with that, in the 70s and 80s, a type of style of skateboarding was created, and it's called freestyle. And it's where they would do many maneuvers and tricks with the board on flat ground rather than moving around. And the filming in the community and the style, but they also made movies to promote these companies. And according to James Sullivan, who interviewed director Alex Craig September 2nd, 2010, said skateboarding evolved alongside the invention of the home video camera and was also intrinsic in its growth. And with that, is companies they started to to expand, they needed something to put their names on, and they would make videos, and then they would have other kids send their videos to see who would be best to join the team, and that's when they would sponsor young kids, anyone else in the area, and they would promote their son, give them the product, and then they'll get it out, and that's how they expand. In Steve Cave article on Brief History of Skateboarding, it was also during the 1980s that the VCR came on the scene and opened up the world of skateboarding to any kid to any kid anywhere. And so by that they started to make videos at home, and they would save these videos for entertainment, and they expanded from there. Sorry. Finally, with everything that we went over and looked over and explained to you, that skateboarders, some of the first skateboarders that changed skateboarding, and by that you'll be able to kind of have information on how you can think about when you look at a skater, and you can see where the history came from, who were the pioneers, where the style came from. If you look at the style and they move and they do a trick or something. The second would be the industry, is how the industry works, more how it expands in the past and how it continues to expand now and in the future. And lastly is filming in the skating world, and that's the industry where how they use filming to their advantage, and how there wasn't any film for them, they wouldn't be able to expand or show anyone else their style or anything else. And that's my presentation.